Attention gamers. I'm always impressed at how much League of Legends players know about the game. If I were to ask you to name this character, most of you would know it's Caitlyn. If I were to say name a country that all collectively hates TF Blade, the majority of you would immediately say Korea, and if I were to say name a chick who's always been mid, you'd all say Belle Delphine. If I were to ask what do these champs have in common, everyone would immediately know the correct answer is that people who main these champs are all on high doses of antidepressants because they have lower win rates at their own role than random champs who are designed to be played elsewhere. The average ADC experience consists of queuing for a different role, but because this one is always listed as priority, since only 6 total people enjoy playing it, you get autofilled to serve a short 40-minute sentence of having zero fun. This results in you getting something like a Yumi support who is clearly tabbing between League and the latest season of The Bachelor. You are getting more pressure than a migraine, and then 2 minutes later you get a notification that you can surrender early because someone is AFK, which is weird because no one has left until you realize
Zoom!
You've been alone the entire time. You're now on the worst early game role that is the most reliant on getting golden levels with no support, and you probably know how this ends. That said, Riot came to our rescue in a big way with the durability patch when they were like, hey, no one deserves to get one shot in our game, so everyone is gonna be beefier than a filet mignon's asshole, and you know what this did for us ADCs. Absolutely nothing. Now if you look at any of the last 50 patches at all ranks, you'll see the top 5 champs in the role aren't even real ADCs. You see, I'm a lifelong ADC main, which means a few things. I'm familiar with the bot lane, I'm accustomed to an auto-attack playstyle, and I have deep anger issues. So you'd think if I usually play these champs, but in this video I play these ones instead, at ranks where I normally lose and contemplate death while playing these champs, then I should lose even harder on champs that I have no experience with, right?
So wrong!
So let's get into the games to see why these mages are the guy who ADC's girls told them not to worry about, starting with this stage riding bathwater distributor rocking these runes. The games you are about to witness took place in Goldie Low, or as some people refer to as literal hell on earth, and this fact should be apparent when you see everyone having their confused level 1 dicks out, confident they will be the one to win the measuring contest, as I donate my early game pressure to make sure my pike survives a total of 2 seconds longer, but the awkward player introductions end in a 3-for-1 in favor of my coworkers, so I can't complain. It's early, but I want to limit test this pink-haired Twitter simp, so I ping Rihanna to go fish, and so she's like, how about a bloody bride, and I'm like, sounds like the perfect candidate to be a dead bitch, and I have to say the burst did feel better than anything a right-click chick could do at level 2. Then shopkeeper Boris called and said he had one of those chapters that everyone thought to be lost in stock, and turns out I can afford it, but Rel wants to get ratchet, and everyone knows I'm always down for a good time, so I do a little foreplay dance knowing Draven is rubbing one out in the shrubs thinking about fucking me, until he realizes he's a grown man and this is embarrassing, so he runs off thinking I'm just not gonna bust him and exploit it in front of all my Twitter fans. So I now have 3 kills at 5 minutes, not to mention the 2 assists to my name and the 2 unused wards in my bag, thinking this is O to the P and absolutely nothing is gonna stop me from stomping. It turns out Ahri has done dirty things to my mid laner all game and wants to tell me all about them, demonstrating some of it on my support, and I'm all like, whoa, that's fucked up, you should consider walking slowly towards me so that my pike can X mark the spot on your dead ass and I can get a fun coin in my bag from it. Anyways, I use my Keeney girl Belle Delphine intuition paired with my eyeballs to know that this perv is 100% alone, so I toss a gamer girl bathwater sack his way, which opens the door for Rel to part ways with her steel elephant as we juggle turret aggro the way Draven would juggle his axes if he wasn't currently deceased. This grants my team what high elo players would call tempo, but I just call it helping out a furry pig with a pepperoni pizza on his head take a mid tower, and then helping the boys slay a dragon, but I figure the best way to contribute is to strum a bunch of pink shit at the intruders, you know, distract them a bit, which works, but it attracts the attention of moldy moss dondies, as I'm thinking, holy shit, I'd be dead 6 times to Sunday if I was an ADC right now, but call me a damn banana because I brought my own peel to this party and we get out safe. I do have to hit a quick chug jug in fountain though, which lets them walk up to tier 2 turret like it's a front door on Halloween, but these bastards are greedy like the kids who snatch a handful when you say take a single goddamn Kit Kat, and there's really only one way to deal with situations like this, and that's to just start spamming buttons and hoping they hit until all the enemies eventually go away. Anyways, I now have a KDA worthy of being taken home to meet the parents before making sweet love to it on your childhood Barbie themed bed, but Hecarim wants to show me this weird bug where his ult just doesn't work, and I want to act surprised to not hurt his feelings, but I'm busy dodging death from 69 angles, and quite frankly I don't know what he expects at this point. It's Riot Games, and last I checked his ult wasn't a Lux skin, so why would they put time into it? But anyways, we win that one with ease and I did well, but I'm thinking it was just a fluke. Game 2, I'm playing the third highest win rate ADC, this floating ghost of spawning violent shit on the grounds past as things get heated, no pun intended, when Spirit douchebag Brand lights my support on fire, so I retaliate by urinating in a wide circle around me to wither him down. This leaves some chick who didn't realize Prime Energy has 200 milligrams of caffeine in it until she butt chugged 6 of them moo fuckers, so the way I see it, we did her a favor. They keep pushing into us because Brand has an inclination to light our team's NPC midgets on fire, but this makes us a prime candidate to welcome a stray dog into our home. Blue Nuts runs in the wrong direction, and then out of nowhere I remember that I will be flamed mercilessly in the comments if I don't toggle my Eon, so I make sure to do that before he dies. Meanwhile, pool party Billie Eilish is showing off her ice skating routine as if we give a shit, when she doesn't realize the only reason Warwick is watching her is because he wants to kill her. And I do have to admit I did get pushed in like a bedazzled butt plug in an only fangirls cooter, but unfortunately for the vandalizers I had the neighbor's rabid dog in the area, and once we all came to the consensus that I was playing this entirely too safe, I just shamefully ulted from the shrubs and finished the fight with one more pop rocks. That said, call me crazy, but when I play real ADCs I can't stand every support I get, but on these mages I didn't seem bothered. Never mind, I take that back. Anyways, I could slowly start to feel the backseaters chirping in my comment section about how this video was starting to smell fishy with how much of a pussy I was playing this Karthus pick, so I made sure in the next fight to get my floating dick way up there, and as I quickly learned, an already dead Karthi is the most killer kind of Karthus. Then I hear on the radio that a wild windshitter has appeared mid lane, and like a fucking Pokemon Go addict I sprint my ass off to go claim that free gold before anyone else can get there. I was really starting to enjoy the amenities that came from pressing R. I would just jam that shit and then patiently wait for the torment of Liandry to have her way with random windshitters. And need I remind you that this was gold, so the biggest and most contested teamfights were occurring in River 2 minutes after the last dragon was killed, and unlike a normal ADC I could really get my nose in there, because if I die I can still play the dankest 10 seconds encore of my life, but it didn't matter, we stomped, I got fed as hell again, and the enemy team with an idiot playing a real ADC surrendered, which brings us to game 3. This featured the top pick in the ADC role for the last like 670 patches, the Grumpy Grandpa, and I was a bit nervous in this one when I saw the enemy team caught on by not picking an ADC either, especially when you consider my mobile charger of a support just fucking sat there with a jittery grin as a pixie midget glitter bombed his face. Then, because I have the map awareness of a plastic fork, I was all shocked when Chester the Jester showed up to gently place sharp objects up my geriatric asshole, but I stay calm and collected in my old age, knowing that Timmy Turner's whore godmother would do something greedy sooner or later. Then the floating toastered bathtub was speed running a second death when I came in all big Raven bomb status. As he stunned I yanked, we bursted, and the gerbil died. A minute later, and I am trying to be respectful of the body language from my opponents. They're trying to get so far up my asshole they could smell what I had for breakfast, so I figured their jungler was coming, but as it turns out this Lulu is just an absolute dumb shit. Eventually the clown she supposedly hired to arrive 30 seconds earlier did make an appearance, and I'm not gonna lie to you sports fans, this one looked like a muerte amistosa Ingles on the old Duolingo Spanish section until I hit my Riley Reid sucker 9000 button and just existed in the middle of chaos to stir the pot a bit until I deployed one more hooker to finish the job. At this point I've gotta say I'm not a Swain main, and I'm just pressing a bunch of things hoping something will happen, like a 5th grader with a sex doll and a copy of the Kama Sutra, and clearly I haven't hit my growth spurt yet where I develop a sense of accuracy, so I'm just floating around, but goddamn did it feel good to be so careless as opposed to the fragile right clicker playstyle I'm used to. Our Amumu was hanging out down here a lot because he said he felt like a loser after almost being prom king, but when I told him that my support literally thinks in 180p, he felt a bit better about himself, so he facilitated my efforts of doing fuck all and getting double kills because this champ is just O to the P in a role designed for an ADC. Speaking of the two brain-celled Tesla queef, he was having a bit of a run-in with their team's Tran-injected Barney, but not to fear, the angry amputee is here, and I feel like normally an ADC touching tits one-on-one in close quarters with a top laner 2 levels higher than you is a recipe for a pending Prozac prescription, but in this case it never really felt that way. Anyways, we have one more run-in with the windshitter. I take a dip in their fountain, which wasn't exactly pleasant, and with that I gotta say this felt incredibly strong and just extremely sad at the same time that ADCs don't even belong in their own role anymore. Subscribe por favor. Rav out.